Hi everyone. Before I start this video, make sure that you're a part of my Discord server by joining the link in the description box below. And in this video, we'll be going over A-Level Accounting 2025 May-June, Paper 3-1 and Paper 3-3, question number 1. This is the structured Paper 3, which consists of 3 questions. Each of them will be of 25 marks, and the total time limit for this paper is 1 hour and 30 minutes. So ideally, you should be spending about 30 minutes in order to solve each question. And in this video as well, we'll be attempting to solve this question number 1 under 30 minutes. So without any further delay, let's get started. Top Hill Social Club, located in the small town of Top Hill, provides social activities to its members. Selected balances are shown as follows. At 31st December 2024 and 2023. So these are our closing balances. These are the opening balances. We have club equipment, which is given at its carrying value. We have inventory of soft drinks, subscription received in advance, subscriptions in arrears. We have soft drinks, suppliers payable, as well as the club expenses accrued. Then the treasurer of the club also produced the following receipts and payments account for the year ended 31st December 2024. So within our receipts and payments account, we can find all of our receipts on the debit side and all of our payments on the credit side. So the receipts are subscriptions. We also have life membership fees, proceeds from sale of equipment. So there was disposal. We need to figure out whether there was a profit or loss on disposal. Then we have sales of soft drinks as well. For payments, we purchased new equipment. We made a payment to suppliers of soft drinks. We have vending machine rental, club expenses, and social activities. Further information is also available. The club started receiving life membership fees on 1st January 2023, which is last year. The current year is 2024. It is the club's policy to spread these fees over 10 years equally. Life membership fees 500 were included in the 2023 income and expenditure account. Alright, club equipment with a carrying value of 3500 was sold in 2024. This is our net book value, which is the carrying value, and we have the sales proceeds as well, 3150. That is what we received by selling it. We can clearly see that the net book value is higher than the sales proceeds, which means that there is a loss on disposal. So the loss on disposal will just be the difference between our net book value of 3500 and the sales proceeds of 3150. This results in the value of 350. Then the club operates a vending machine selling soft drinks. Renting the vending machine at a monthly charge of 800 is the only expense of operating the vending machine. Okay, so for 12 months, the total rent of the vending machine will be 12 times 800, which results in the value of 9600. This is our value for the year. And we can see that vending machine rental is given to be 10,400. That was the total amount we paid. So this covers the charge for our current year as well as some extra charge for the future as well. Then a deposit of 4,700 have been paid for a social activity to be held in March 2025. Current year is 2024. So this amount of 4,700 is prepayment. And this was already included in our social activities right here. So we need to remove our closing prepaid because that belongs to a different year. Let's do our working. So for social activities, the total amount that we paid during the year was 41,000, out of which 4,700 belongs to next year. So we're going to remove it, which results in 36,300. This is our amount for the year, which is to be included within the financial statements for the year 2024. Now let's take a look at our first question. We need to explain why the club adopts the policy of spreading life membership fees over 10 years equally. Okay, the policy was given right here in the first information. Now, the very first concept that we apply in this case is matching concept, because life membership fees usually covers your membership for a couple of years, and in this case it covers your membership for 10 years. So whatever amount you're paying at the starting of the first year will cover the 10-year period. And according to our matching concept, we need to match the revenue of that period to the expenses of that period, which is why we need to divide the life membership fees equally among those 10 years for which it covers. And the second thing is that in this case, we've chosen 10 years, and that is the accounting policy of the club. Let's write it down. So the very first thing is matching concept is applied. To match life membership over the years used, and the number of years to spread over is the accounting policy of the club. Alright, that is all for the first part. Let's move towards the next one. We now need to calculate the profit or loss from operating the vending machine for the year ended 31st December 2024. Okay, so operating vending machine is a side business attached to our social club. So in this case, we just need to prepare the statement of profit or loss only for the vending machine. We always start with our revenue. So in this case, we are selling soft drinks. So the revenue will be soft drinks revenue. Let's take a look above. We have been given sales of soft drinks right here, 36,000. That is our cash sales, and I don't think we have been given any information regarding credit sales. So we just need to include this 36,000 as part of our revenue for the year. After revenue, we include our cost of sales. So that will include the opening inventory, the purchases. We were not given any information regarding purchases, returns, or carriage inwards. So there will just be closing inventory. The inventory information were given above, right here. We have our soft drinks inventory. The opening date or the opening balance is 1680 and the closing balance is 1900. So the opening inventory is 1680, closing inventory is 1900. And we were not given the direct value for purchases, but we have been given information regarding soft drink suppliers payable, which is the trade payables for purchases related to vending machine. And we have suppliers of soft drinks right here, which is the payment that we made to our credit suppliers during the year. So in order to figure out our credit purchases, we need to prepare the purchases ledger control account, which is the trade payables account, which is a liability. So the opening balance will be on the credit side. Let's write it down. Opening balance of the trade payable is 7,300. The credit purchases will be recorded on the credit side, which is what we're trying to figure out. Then the amount that we paid during the year will reduce our trade payables. So it will go on the debit side, 20,800. Then we have our closing balance of 6,500, which will again go on the debit side. Now we just need to figure out the total. The total from the debit side is 27,300. And the purchases will just be 27,300 minus 7,300, which results in 20,000. Let's write it down. Now the cost of sales will be 1680 plus 20,000 minus 1900, which results in 19,780. Then we can figure out our gross profit. In this case, we need to write down gross profit because there is one more expense related to the vending machine, which is the rental expenses. Now the gross profit will be 36,000 minus 19,780, which results in 16,220. Like I said before, the only expense is vending machine rental. And we've calculated the rental expenses for the year. For 12 months, that was supposed to be 9,600. Let's write it down. Then we can figure out our profit from vending machine. That will be 16,220 minus 9,600, which results in 6,620. That is all for the second part. Let's move towards the next one. We now need to prepare the income and expenditure account for the year ended 31st December 2024. This is for our club. So income and expenditure account. Income and expenditure account has a very clear format. We have two sections. For one section, we'll list out all of the expenses. For the other section, we'll list out all of the incomes. And then we just compare and figure out whether there was a profit or loss. But in this case, profit is referred to as surplus and loss is referred to as deficit. Okay, so we can just create this in a singular column. Let's start with our income section. For any club, the major source of income will be your subscriptions. and this is subscriptions for the year. In order to calculate this amount, we need to prepare our subscriptions account. I'll do that here. Okay, so we have subscriptions in advance as well as subscriptions in arrears. Subscriptions in arrears means that the club has already provided the services, but we are yet to receive this amount. So this is our current asset. Subscriptions received in advance means that we've received the payment, but we are yet to provide the services for it. So this will be our liability. Now, for liability, the opening balance will always go on the credit side, and for asset, the opening balance will always go on the debit side. So we'll have 2200 on the debit side, 1900 on the credit side. Then any subscriptions that we receive during the year, we always record it on the credit side. We can see it right here within our receipt section. Subscriptions of 124,000 was received during the year. Now, the amount that we need to enter within our income and expenditure account will always appear on the debit side. This is what we are trying to figure out. And if there is any sort of irrecoverable debt, we also record that on the credit side. But in this case, we do not have any such information. Now, we just need to record the closing balances. For closing balances, it will just be the opposite. Now, the current liability closing balance will appear on the debit side, and the current asset closing balance will appear on the credit side. Now we need the total from our credit side. That will be 1900 plus 124,000 plus 2800, which results in the value of 128,700. Now the amount to be recorded within our income and expenditure account will be 128,700 minus 1200 minus 2200, which results in the value of 125,300. This is our subscriptions for the year. Let's write it down. Then in this case, we also have life membership. So life membership fees. And we need to transfer it just for 1 year. Our policy is to divide the total amount equally among 10 years. Okay, we were given life membership information right here. Life membership fees of 500 were included in the 2023 income and expenditure account. So we need to include that in the current year as well, since this is only the second year. And during the year, we received 8,000 as part of our life membership fees. We need to divide it equally over 10 years. So that will be 8,000 divided by 10. Because in this case, we're only recording the amount for 1 year, which is the year 2024. So this will be 500 plus 800, which results in the value of 1,300. Let's write it down. Then in this case, we also operate a vending machine on which we had a profit of 6,620. That will also be part of our income. Profit from vending machine. So the total was 6,620. Now let's figure out the total of our income on the other column. That will be 125,300 plus 1,300 plus 6,620, which results in 133,220. Now we can move towards our expenditure section. Okay. So the very first expenditure was our loss on disposal of club equipment, 350. Let's write it down. This is loss on disposal of club equipment, 350. Okay. Then we also calculated the total expenses for the year for social activities. Let's write this amount of 36,300. Sorry, that was social activities. 36,300. Then we can see right here we have club expenses of 69,300. This was the amount that was paid during the year. Let's say if we have any adjustment. Right here we can see we have club expenses accrued. So accrued at the closing date, we have to add it. Accrued at the opening date, we have to subtract it. So our adjustment in this case will be 69,300 plus 5,400 minus 8,800. This results in the value of 65,900. Let's write it down. This is for club expenses. Okay. Then we were also given information regarding club equipment. We have the carrying value. We definitely have to include the depreciation charge for the year as well, but no depreciation policy is given. In such cases, we need to implement our schedule of non-current asset. So we start with the opening balance. Then we add any purchases. We add the cost of the new purchased non-current asset. We subtract the disposal. For disposal, we subtract the net book value of the disposed non-current asset. Then if there is any revaluation upwards, we need to add that. Any revaluation downwards, we need to subtract that. Then we subtract the depreciation, which will give us the closing balance of the net book value. Now we will follow this process here as well. The opening balance of club equipment is 37,600. We were given information regarding purchase of equipment. Right here, that's 14,400. We need to add the purchase cost. So we've included these two. We also have disposal. Club equipment with a carrying value of 3,500 was sold. So that's the net book value. We need to subtract that. We do not have any information regarding revaluation upwards or downwards. So then we can just subtract depreciation, which is what we're trying to figure out. And this will be equal to the closing balance, which is given to be 38,800. Okay, now the depreciation will just be 37,600 plus 14,400 minus 3,500 minus 38,800. This results in the value of 9,700. Let's write it down. This is the depreciation on equipment, on club equipment, which is equal to 9,700. Now we can figure out the total of our expenses as well because we've included everything. We've included social activities, club expenses. The rental was included as well. We included this to calculate the purchases value, and this was also included while trying to calculate our depreciation. So the total of expenses will be 350 plus 36,300 plus 65,900 plus 9,700, which results in 112,250. So in this case, the income value is higher, which means that there will be a profit, but profit in cases of club is referred to as surplus. So the surplus value will be 133,220 minus 112,250, which results in 20,970. That is all for the third part. Let's move towards the next one. We now need to prepare a statement showing the changes in the accumulated fund during the year ended 31st December 2024. Okay. So we first have our opening balance of the accumulated fund. So that is the accumulated fund at 1st January 2024. Then during the year, we just include our surplus or deficit. In this case, we had a surplus. So that surplus will be added, which will then lead us to the accumulated fund at the closing date. So at 31st December 2024. Okay, so the surplus for the year was 20,970. Now we need to figure out our accumulated fund at the opening date. Let's take a look above. So at the opening date, we have a list of our assets and liabilities. Now, remember, we can just use the format for our statement of financial position, which is asset equals to capital plus liabilities. But in this case, the capital will be our accumulated fund. So in order to figure out the accumulated fund, this will just be asset minus liabilities. Okay, so for the opening balance, we have club equipment, which is an asset. So 37,600. We have inventory, which is also an asset, plus 1680. Then we have our subscriptions received in advance, which is also a liability. So we need to subtract the 1900. Then the subscriptions in arrears, which is an asset. So we need to add the 2200. Then soft drinks suppliers payable, which is trade payables, which is definitely a liability. So we need to subtract 7,300. Then we have club expenses accrued. Any expenses accrued will be expenses payables. So this is also a liability, minus 8,800. Then we have been given the receipts and payments account. So we have the opening balance within our bank. So we need to add 26,800. Then we have one more thing, the life membership fund. Life membership fund will be a liability because we've already received the entire amount, but we are yet to pay it. We know that in this case, the life membership started on 1st January 2023, which is last year. And in last year, we included 500 as part of our income and expenditure account. So this 500 was just the total life membership fees divided by 10 because that is our policy. So the total life membership fees that we received in the year 2023 was 500 times 10, which results in 5,000. So by the end of the year 2023, out of this 5,000, 500 was transferred to the income and expenditure account, which means that the remaining 4,500 remains as our life membership fund. So the life membership fund opening balance is 4,500, which is part of the liability. So we need to subtract this value as well. So minus 4,500. Alright, now we can get our accumulated fund at the opening date. So that will be 37,600 plus 1680 minus 1900 plus 2200 minus 7,300 minus 8,800 plus 26,800 minus 4,500, which results in the value of 45,780. Let's write it down. Now, the closing balance of the accumulated fund will just be opening balance plus the surplus. So 45,780 plus 20,970, which results in 66,750. That's all for the fourth part. Okay, in this case, I think we can show our workings here as well, the workings that we did for the accumulated fund at the opening date. Let's move towards the next part. We have some additional information. The tenancy of the club's premises will end on 31st December 2025. The landlord has indicated that the tenancy will not be renewed. The managing committee is considering purchasing the club's own premises at a cost of 200,000. Meena, a member, offers to donate this amount with the condition that the name of the club will be changed to the Meena Social Club. Alright, we need to advise the managing committee whether or not Meena's offer should be accepted. We need to justify the answer. This is of 5 marks. So we need one for a final decision and then 4 comments. Out of the 4 comments, 2 should be for why Meena's offer should be accepted. 2 should be for why we should not be accepting Meena's offer. Okay. So the very first thing is that we need a lot of amount in order to purchase our own premises, which is 200,000. And in this case, Meena will be donating this amount. The donation will not have to be repaid by the club. So that is an advantage. Let's write it down. The donation will not have to be repaid by the club. And the second thing is that if we are not accepting the donation, then we would have to obtain finance such as bank loan. And in case of bank loan, the interest will reduce our surplus. Let's write it down. Otherwise, the club needs to obtain finance such as a bank loan, in which case the interest will reduce the surplus. Okay. Now we need 2 comments for why we should not accept Meena's offer. The very first thing is that the identity of the club will be changed because it will now be called the Meena Social Club instead of the Top Hill Social Club. And it used to be named Top Hill because it was situated in I think the city of Top Hill. Let's see. Okay, it was a small town of Top Hill, which means that this is a local club. But if we were to change the name to Meena Social Club, then the club will lose its identity of being a local club for the community. Let's write it down. If the name is changed, the club will lose its identity of being a local club for the community. All right. Then the other thing is that since Mina will be donating a significant amount, which is 200,000, and also the name of the club will be her name. So she might exercise undue influence over the affairs of the club. She might try to take over the club as well. Let's write it down. Mina may exercise undue influence over the affairs of the club. Okay, now based on these factors, we need to make a final decision. So, in this case, I would advise the managing committee to not accept Mina's offer because, in this case, the entire identity of the club is being changed. And since Mina is funding a significant amount, other members might not like it, and due to which the membership may decline. Let's write it down. The managing committee should not accept Mina's offer as the identity of the club will change, which might result in a decline in membership. All right, that is all for the fifth part as well as the entire question. If you found this video useful, make sure that you like the video and leave a comment below. And make sure that you are subscribed to the channel and hit the bell icon so that you do not miss any of these videos in the future. Thank you.